Just across this river, that's Russia, and it's not that far at all, maybe 40 meters. On this side, it's Estonia, part of the EU, part of NATO. But walking around here, you hear Russian more than anything else. There are flags on both sides, fortresses facing each other, and everything still has that Soviet feel to it. I'm David from David Without Borders, and I came here to see what this place is actually like, standing right between two completely different worlds.
Good morning and welcome back to the Baltic city of Tallinn, Estonia. Today I'm catching a train to visit the easternmost city of Estonia called Narva. Now I'm in a bit of a hurry, so I'm going to jump downstairs, check out, and we're going to make our way to the Balti Jam, or the train station. Let's move. 603?
603?
Yes?
Do you use the mini bar?
No.
Yeah, we'll set that.
Okay, thanks very much. Cheers. Bye. As I said, today we're moving towards the easternmost city of Estonia called Narva. Now it's on the Russian border, and I'm going to explore whether or not it feels more like Russia or more like Estonia. There is one caveat. I've never been to Russia, so I can't really tell if it is Russian. But what I will be looking out for is place names, languages. I've learned a small bit of Russian on Duolingo. Not enough to speak it, but enough to maybe recognise it. So that's what we're going to be looking out for, and just the general ambience around the streets. Okay, so I have like a 20-minute walk to the bus station. I'm going to see how easy or hard it is to navigate the public transport here in Tallinn. Here, but in the background you can see the Alexander Nevsky Cathedral, which is probably the most famous church here in Tallinn. Saw that better yesterday. We actually went inside but couldn't go inside with the video. But here's what the view is like around it, and there's another church facing it here. Okay, we're just coming up to close by the train station now, so I actually made it ahead of schedule. I wonder if this train goes along the coast. I would really like if I'd got views of the Baltic Sea as we moved across and headed towards the Russian border. But yeah, let's find out. We're not far here now. I think it's this building up here. So this is the name of the train station. So let's see. I don't know where I'm going, but I'd imagine this takes us in. Okay, so I'm on platform 1, so I'll be taking off from over there. And yeah, relatively easy to follow. I have a ticket pre-booked, so I'm not too bad. It's just a QR code on my phone, and I'm going to take it from platform 1. So let's have a look at what the train is inside. I have a first class ticket. It was only like €1 more expensive, and the trip is like 2.5 hours, so I figured why the hell not. But yeah, let's see what the inside of the plane looks like when it gets there.
Welcome aboard the express train to Narva. This train stops only at
I think I'm like maybe an hour into the journey, and this is what the bathroom looks like in the train. And actually, it's one of the better bathrooms on a train that I've ever seen. But yeah, we'll check in again once we actually get to Narva.
sõiduvaliku rongi kasuks.
I've just arrived here in Narva, and you can see the train station behind me, and I got some shots inside as well. So I have about a 20-minute walk to my hotel. I can check in at 2, and we're going to move towards the Russian border after that. I believe I'm actually quite close to here. I think it's just back there. But yeah, going to check in, get to my hotel, and we move on. Hello, can I check in or is it too early?
And you came by car or no?
Train. Is English widely spoken here, or is it just mainly Russian or Estonian? Which is the most common language to use here, Russian or Estonian? Russian? Yeah. Okay. So I can say privet to people, and spasiba, and is Dobry den? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Does many people speak English?
Some, yes.
In the tourist places?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's third floor,
Okay.
first elevator A, and tomorrow breakfast from 6:30 to 10:30 in cafeteria.
Okay, perfect. Thanks very much. Okay, so I'm out in a public park here in Narva. This is my view. There's obviously the Estonian flag and the European Union flag and the Ukrainian flag up on a building here in front of me. My goal for this video is to see what it's like on the Russian border in the European Union, but also, does it really feel more European or more Russian? And I can tell you already, based on the conversation I've had inside in the hotel when I checked in, it's already looking like it's going to be a bit more Russian. But yeah, let's not jump to any conclusions and let's go explore the town of Narva. Thing I have noticed, if anyone wants to clear this up, is my clock on Google Maps is saying 15:39, but 15:26, but my clock on my phone is saying 14:26. So is there some sort of time zone change once you head into Russia from here, or can someone clear that up, what that actually means? Because both of my clocks are reading two different things. I'm just after taking a little bit of time to recuperate and recover and get something to eat. But look at this monstrosity of a building I found. And it, if anything screams Soviet architecture, this does. Look at the big blocky nature of it. Grey building, concrete blocks. It's unbelievable. It's really drab is probably the best way to describe it, but it probably serves its function. Looks like there's a lot of kind of radio masts up there, or television satellite masts. And it looks to be a residential building. Yeah, very cool to see. This is what I came to see. This is much more up my alley than the pretty medieval town of Tallinn. Of course, there is these kind of nicer buildings as well down there, and there is the nice churches littered around the place, but of course there's obviously the Soviet influence here. This place looks a lot more Soviet than Tallinn already, and a lot of this would have been a town on the border, and it would have been a lot of people would have been shipped in from the USSR to work here. Like on my right here, there's some sort of a border station. I'm not sure what purpose that serves, what you actually do in there. I just see it says border station. It's heavily guarded. I don't know what it serves. Maybe you have to go there, drop off your visa or something. I don't really know, but I presume it's highly security under surveillance, and I don't want to spend too much time loitering outside it and making videos, because a lot of the time at these kind of places they make you delete the footage, so I don't want to loiter there. Barbed fencing even around there, so yeah, it's that yard is under a lot of security there, and you can see the big ugly building there. There's not the nicest ambience around here at the moment. There's not that many people around, but you can feel kind of a small bit of tension in the air here. And there's just residential apartment blocks, I think, all around there, but I just walked up there and it seems to be a dead end. I think I took a wrong turn, so we're going to keep moving forward. But like, this is the border office up here and to my left, the one that I just passed. But yeah, there's just a lot of tension down around here, I feel. One thing I'm kind of wondering as I'm walking around here, I wonder if somewhere like this and Ivanograd across the water, I wonder if places like this are like a hotbed for like foreign operatives, you know, ones like, I suppose on this side it would be Russian operatives. Are they gathering intel, and do they live on this side? And the same in Ivanograd, which is across the water. Is that like a hotbed for European and American operatives or like secret agents to be gathering intel and carrying out missions like they probably do? So yeah, if anyone has any information like that, or maybe arrests or stuff that has happened in the past, let me know. That's something I'd be kind of interested to know about. Maybe when I get a bit of a break here, I might actually stop and look that up, see if there's any records of it online. Look at this, in the easternmost town in Estonia, Old Trafford restaurant. Surely they're Manchester United fans, they have to be, whoever owns it. Wonder if it's an English bar. Maybe we'll visit there later. Look at this old abandoned house here. Looks like there's nothing going on. Would we say it's from Soviet times? It probably is, to be fair. It's all decrepit. I don't think anyone's been in that. It doesn't even look like it's finished. But anyway, we're going to move on. Okay, so this is quite a surreal moment for me. Like, behind me is the Estonian fortress. Across the water from me is a Russian fortress, and that right there is Russia. And up to my left, you can see the only corridor linking both of them, and that is, I can see a couple of different patrol sections in the actual bridge. But it's so interesting. I never really thought I could be this close to Russia, and all that separates me is, what's that, like 30 or 40 meters of water, maybe 50 meters of water. It's a wide river, but I'm so close to it. I'd love to go there, but obviously everything going on, it's quite difficult to do things like that nowadays. And one other thing I noticed is that there's actually just people on the other side of it doing the same thing as I'm doing over here, while they're looking back and forth or looking across the water. And it's strange to think that it's become so hard to cross a bridge like that into a different country because of what governments have decided to do and go to war with each other and stuff like that. It's kind of disappointing, because maybe if everything wasn't going on, you could go across there, which would be really, really cool, given how rich in culture and heritage the Russian country is. It would be so interesting to go and explore their country as well. But for now, we're stuck on this side, the European side. But yeah, that's the closest I'll ever be to Russia for a long time, I would say, unless I apply for a visa. Just some people walking across. They're crossing from one ideology to another, and that's all it takes. Walk across the bridge. What's interesting about actually being down here is that it's so calm and peaceful and serene compared to when I was up in the estates somewhere over there with all the apartment blocks. Felt a bit on edge. Down here it seems really serene. You can just see normal Russian houses over there in the town of Ivanograd, and the fort of Ivanograd there. You can see people walking across the bridge, and you can see the Estonian fort there. It's probably one of the most geopolitically fraught places in Europe, and you mightn't even really notice it being here. So just up there you can see the Estonian side of the border fence. That's where people will probably get processed, come through, have their visa ready, and it seems they walk along this corridor down here on the left that's slightly shielded, and the right hand side is for vehicles, although there seems to be barricades there, so I'm not sure if vehicles actually can pass. And then it seems like there's a series of fences, but if you're on foot they seem to be able to walk all the way through, I think. And then you can see on the green side, that's the Russian side. So the green sheds over there, I'm not sure if you can see them, there seem to be the Russian side. A good view of Ivanograd fortress and the Estonian fortress on this side. Really, really cool. And interestingly, you have the Estonian show of force or togetherness with the NATO flag, Estonia, European Union, and it's right in the face of that Russian flag on top of the fortress on the other side. So yeah, that's really interesting, this kind of gesturing from both sides. But would you expect anything less? I think not. I'll be honest, I'm finding this really, really cool, like just that we're this close and the border here. This is kind of what I wanted to get out of, and I know people will never see that video, but from Abkhazia, and of course I couldn't get close enough to any of the border fences on the Nguri bridge, but I wanted to see the stages like this. But for obvious reasons, Abkhazia and all of its issues, we weren't able to get close enough to see that. And of course no one on YouTube will see that either, because I lost all the footage like an idiot. But anyway, there you have it. Even better vantage point here, you can see the flags all in one with the fortress. It's really, really cool. And lo and behold, behind me then are the actual Soviet apartments. So the people over there helped build this town here, and I'm sure if you could talk to the locals, maybe some of them actually would like to be still part of the Soviet Union. I'm hearing all Russian, to be honest, spoken around the place here. But I knew that coming in, and I think the question I posed at the start was, does this feel more Russian or European? I mean, the displays of power would suggest European, but I think the actual people on the ground, the inhabitants, it's feeling a lot more Russian. Look at these big slabs of ice just flowing downstream. Oh, it's going to hit the thing on the bridge. Cool. Made a nice little thundery sound. Probably flowing down from the Gulf of Finland, or flowing into the Gulf of Finland maybe. Privet. Can I get a coffee? Espresso. Here?
In restaurant?
In restaurant.
Okay. Espresso one?
Espresso. Double?
Double espresso.
Double espresso.
Please. And sit down, please.
Спасибо. Okay, so let's go and explore the town a bit more. And earlier that during the USSR times, that a lot of the people that lived in Narva would have been people imported from the wider Russian area, and so that's why there's so much Russian speaking people here, as well as the proximity to Russia itself. If you watched
if you watched my last vlog in Tallinn, you would have seen the commemoration to those who lost their lives during the Soviet rule of Estonia. And a lot of the people who would have lived here originally would have been shipped out to forced labour camps, and some of them would have been, a lot of the men would have been entered into the Red Army, forced conscription, and and others would have been actually killed. So yeah, Narva probably wasn't the nicest place in the world for those people that were shipped in from the wider Russian area of the Soviet Union. I'd imagine they were very shunned, and I suppose, can you blame them? It would be quite interesting to know how old this church is and what denomination it is, because obviously during the Soviet times religion was a big no-no, because it made people think of something other than the Soviet Union and gave them a way to come together outside of the Union itself. Yeah, this is quite a cool church. I'm not sure what denomination of Christianity it is. It's a pretty run down old Soviet building here. Paint flickering off the wall. Kind of forgotten about, I think. So this is kind of some of the residential buildings here. These look quite new, so I don't know. I wouldn't go saying that these are Soviet buildings. And there's a modern building here as well. So these aren't really, I would guess that they're not Soviet buildings, although they look quite old now that I look at them. The brickwork is kind of shoddy. But you know, when you look at something, sometimes you just instantly know that it is a Soviet building or it isn't. That one I'm not too sure about. But this looks so different for me. And I'm actually coming up to where I started this morning, the train station. So I'm going to explore some of the kind of outer rims of the town now, the residential areas, and just get a feel for them. Train stations are such cool places to have a look at. You just see like one of the most important places in any town's history, and it's probably the lifeblood and the reason why so many towns expanded or never expanded, because the railway station gives life to the town. It gives them a mode of connectivity to the rest of the world, and for Narva it's the obvious mode of connectivity to the capital, Tallinn. So look at this cool water tower here, or former water tower. It's not being used anymore, I don't think, by the look of it, for the Narva city. So this nice man over here, he didn't have any English, but he was able to explain to me that was for that it's a water tower. That was my guess, but it was good to church. Have a look. The sun is starting to go down, but this park looks kind of nice as well. Very quaint. I think this place looks kind of out of place, but it's probably the decadence of it. It's really nice. It's an Orthodox church. It's got them kind of domes that you wouldn't really associate with Catholicism, but so like what some people actually don't understand or know is that the centre of Narva during World War II actually got destroyed. So unlike Tallinn, which the centre was it got destroyed, but it was remade in the old way, like the medieval town centre. Although some was left, but Narva was remade by the Soviets, so all of the buildings around are Soviet style. But it's nice to see that this one remains.
So my guess is that here and here, these are two different eras of apartment blocks. This one looks a bit older, this one looks a bit younger. None of them look too appealing, to be honest. So it's this era that I'm in right here. This is the area of the town that would have been destroyed during World War II, and you can see the way it's built up now. Wide boulevards lined with trees. That's the way the Soviets wanted it. They wanted it planned. They wanted to be able to roll through military vehicles, nice wide streets for trucks and transport. Utility. Look at this tennis court, it's just gone into complete disrepair. If anything kind of sells the notion that a place is forgotten about, it's kind of sports complexes that are kind of overgrown and gone into disrepair. But yeah, that's unfortunate to see. Okay, let's enter Narva Fortress here. Okay, this is cool. I wasn't really expecting this. I'm not sure what I was expecting, to be honest. But let's take a closer look. Wide open space here. This is still inside the walls. These are the exterior walls, and there's another set of walls in there around the tower. Like me, there's just one guy standing up there on the corner of Ivangorod Fortress, and you can see where I was earlier. So that's just the church there, and that's the other church, the domed one over there. So that's quite cool to put into perspective. Look, there's the big Soviet kind of radio building, we're going to call it, and it's not that big of a city, but it's it made feel a bit bigger because there's just so many apartment blocks, I think, anyway. But I'm not used to seeing that many apartment blocks.
Room was covered with a huge cylindrical.
Look at this guy inside the Narva castle. It's a knight on top of a horse with a priest. How lovely. Okay, so I'm actually inside the castle. I'm not sure if we can get up there. There's lights on up there, but let's see. But that's a really good view of Ivangorod Fortress, and actually you can see the road into Russia there, into the mainland. That's quite cool. I feel really privileged to be able to see somewhere like this, to be honest. I've wanted to come here for quite a while. It's so cool. That's a really cool view actually from this castle. So you can see everything. You can see the border, the Estonian flag, the Russian flag, and the two fortresses pretty well. And you can actually see into Russia pretty well as well. Really cool. I'm glad I came in here. It was only €8 as well, which is a bit of a steal for somewhere like this. Okay, so there you are. You were inside Narva Castle with me. Unfortunately, we couldn't get up there. The door was locked. And now there's only one more thing that we need to do. Take a cruise around Narva and down by the river on an e-scooter. So again, this is the border area, which is very cool. This is where the people have been walking through to go to Russia.
You have entered a low speed.
So look at this place. I just found it here as I was cruising around on the e-scooter, which looks like some abandoned fucking hall or theatre or something, or maybe some really rich person's house. The grand pillars, columns, all fading away now, completely dilapidated. There's a van outside, I don't know if they own it, but I am not going inside there because it does not look good. But yeah, what a cool find out here in fucking Narva. So look, this is the back of that building that I was just showing you there, and it's really cool. Completely abandoned by the looks of it. Wonder what it is. I have no clue. Thank God for the e-scooter, because I never would have actually seen this had I stayed on foot, which is always a plus. In case you were wondering, like, this is so much more Soviet than Tallinn. Narva has not disappointed. Look at all these buildings behind me when it comes to Soviet architecture and Soviet feel. And you see the European flag there with the Ukrainian, but it doesn't feel very European. It feels far more Soviet and quite run down. Now I'm going to make my way back to the hotel, because my golden rule when I'm traveling is not to stay out beyond darkness, and that's, although I feel safe here, I'm going to stick to my guns and I'm going to move on. So I'm going to turn the scooter around, take in some of the Soviet splendour on the way back, and then I'm going to close out the video. So see you in a few. So that brings an end to my video of Narva, the easternmost city in all of Estonia on the Russian border. And if you've enjoyed that video, please subscribe to David Without Borders, because tomorrow we will be visiting a secret Soviet town that wasn't even on a map until the 1990s. And I'm going to leave you with this view. See ya.